The miniatures and terrain in this video are 3D printed using STL files included in the free Age of Fantasy starter set. Go to onepagerules.com to learn more. Round 1. Ratmen vs. Plague Demons. The terrain layout and the unit count is based on Mission 5 from the free Age of Fantasy Quick Start Guide. Each faction will need to move in and attempt to capture the 2 objectives positioned on the battlefield. The Ratmen are going to send all units to Objective 2 in hopes of controlling it, and then maybe later in the game move to Objective 1. The Plague Demons will try to divide and conquer. The mission states that the Plague Demons will activate first, so Plague Fury 1 will fly towards Objective 1 just outside of the occupation zone. The Rat Veteran unit will rush to Objective 2 and occupy it. Plague Fury 2 will do the same as Fury 1 and set up position just outside of Objective 2. The Rat Warrior unit will move to set up a defensive attack for the next round. The Plague Warrior unit will also move towards Objective 2. For the last activation of the Ratmen, the Grenadier unit will move towards the center of the battlefield so it can hit either objective zone with range attacks. With the last activation for the Plague Demons, the Swarm unit will move in and occupy Objective 1. Round 1 ends without any conflict. The Ratmen were first to gain control of Objective 2, earning their first victory point, followed by the Plague Demons taking control of Objective 1. Ratmen 1, Plague Demons 1. Round 2. Now that both factions are taking positions, we should see a lot of combat. The Ratmen were first to finish all activations in the last round, so they will be the first to activate in this round. The Ratmen will try to take defensive positions around Objective 2 as the Plague Demons surround their opponents. For the first activation, the Rat Warrior will charge in melee with Plague Fury 2. Hand weapon is a single die attack for each model at a quality of 5+, and it gets a 1, a 4, and a 5 for 1 hit. The Plague Fury has a defense of 5+, and only gets a 3. The Plague Fury has a special a Putrid, which allows it to roll again, and on a 6 the wound is ignored. And it only gets a 4, so the wound remains. Rolling for wound check. A 3 plus 1 wound equals 4, so the Plague Fury is shaken. Shaken units can strike back, but they are automatically fatigued, which means they can only hit on a 6+. Rending Claw is a 2 dice attack. It only gets a 1 and a 5. The Plague Warrior unit moves in to cancel the Ratmen's control of Objective 2, and also melee with the Rat Veteran unit. Hand weapon is a single die attack for each model at a quality of 4+, and gets a 4 and 2 6s for 3 hits. The Rat Veteran unit has a defense of 4+, and gets 2 1s and a 4 for 2 wounds. The Rat Veteran unit will lose 2 models. The Lone Veteran will strike back at a quality of 4+, and gets a hit with a 4 plus an AP of 1. The Plague Warrior has a defense of 4+, and gets a 4, but the AP of 1 will modify it to a 5 for 1 wound. The Warrior will try to ignore the wound using Putrid, and only gets a 2. The Plague Warriors will lose 1 model. The Rat Grenadiers will use a ranged attack and try to knock down the Plague Warriors even more. Grenadiers have a special of Indirect and Expert Thrower, which will allow them to hit any enemies that are not in the line of sight without any penalties. Fire Bombs are a single die attack per model at a quality of 5+, and only gets a 1, a 3, and a 4. The Plague Swarm will move in melee with the Rat Grenadiers. Swarm Attack is a 3 dice attack at a quality of 6+, and only gets a 2, a 3, and a 4. The Ratmen will strike back at the Swarm. Hand Weapon is a single die attack per model at a quality of 5+, and only gets a 2 and 2 4s. For the last activation of the Ratman, the Lone Rat Veteran will melee with the Plague Warriors. With Fatigue, the Heavy Halberd is a single dice attack at a quality of 6+, and only gets a 5. The Fatigued Plague Warriors will strike back at a quality of 6+ per bottle. It only gets 2 2s. For the last activation of Round 2, the Plague Fury 1 will move south to help block any movement towards Objective 1. At the end of Round 2, the Plague Demons will still control Objective 1. The Ratman will lose control of Objective 2 with the Plague Warriors encroaching in the zone. Ratman 0, Plague Demons 1. Greetings. If you are enjoying the show, please give this video a like, and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already done so. You can also find Square Table Union on other social media. Round 3. Both factions have started to engage in combat in Round 2, and both sides have already taken some losses. The Ratmen were first to finish all activations in the last round, so they will be the first to activate in this round. The Ratmen will try to eliminate some units and push north towards Objective 1, as the Plague Demons will try to overtake Objective 2. For the first activation, the Rat Warriors will charge and melee with the Plague Warriors. Hand Weapon is a 1 die attack for each model at a quality of 5+, and gets 2 1s and a 3. The Plague Warriors will strike back at the Rat Warriors. Hand Weapon is a 1 die attack for each model with poison at a quality of 4+, and only gets a 2 and a 3. The Plague Swarm will charge south against the Rat Grenadiers. Swarm is a 3 dice attack with poison at a quality of 6+, and only gets 3 1s. The Rat Grenadiers will strike back at the Plague Swarm. Hand Weapon is a 1 die attack for each model at a quality of 5+, and gets a 1, a 4, and a 6, so 1 hit. The Plague Swarm has a defense of 6+ with Putrid, and only gets a 2. Rolling for Putrid in hopes to cancel the wound. And another 2, so the wound stays. The Plague Swarm has a toughness of 3, so 1 wound is added. The lone veteran is going to see if it can knock another model off of the Plague Warrior unit. Heavy Halberd is a single die attack with an AP of 1 with Rending at a quality of 4+. It gets a 6. A result of 6 activates Rending, which the AP is changed to an AP 4. With Rending, the Plague Warriors will need to roll a 6 in defense because 6s always succeed. Oh, and only gets a 1. Now rolling for Putrid to save. It only gets a 4, so the Plague Warriors lose one more model. The lone Plague Warrior will strike back at the Rat Veteran. Hand Weapon will be a single die attack with poison at a quality of 6+ because of fatigue. It only gets a 1. Plague Fury 1 will fly down and charge against the Rat Warriors. Rending Claw is a 2 dice attack with poison and rending at a quality of 5+, and gets a 3 and a 5 for 1 hit. The Rat Warriors have a defense of 5+, and gets it with a 5. The Rat Warriors will strike back at the Plague Fury. Hand Weapon is a 1 die attack for each model at a quality of 6+ with fatigue, and only gets a 2 and 2 4s. For the last activation of round 3, the Rat Grenadiers would advance to occupy Objective 1, and then Firebomb the lone Plague Warrior. Firebombs are a single die attack per model with AP of 1 and indirect, with a quality of 5+. It gets a 2 and a 4 and a 6 for 1 hit. The Plague Warrior has a defense of 4+, and gets it with a 4, but with an AP of 1 that gets it, it is modified down to a 3 for 1 wound. Rolling for Putrid. It only gets a 5. Now rolling for Wound check. And gets a 1 + 1 that equals 2, so the Plague Warrior will be shaken. At the end of round 3, the Plague Demons lost control of Objective 1 as the Rat Grenadiers moved in. The Plague Warrior that was contesting Objective 2 is now shaken, and shaking units cannot hold objectives, so now the Ratmen also control Objective 2. Ratmen 2, Plague Demons 0. Final round. The Ratmen have turned this game around and took control of both objectives. The Plague Demons were first to finish all of their activations in the last round, so they will be the first to activate in this round. The Plague Demons will try to challenge occupation of both objectives as the Ratmen try to block and stand their ground. For the first activation, Plague Fury 2 has spent round 3 shaken, and now in round 4 it can freely move and charge at the Rat Warriors. Rending Claw is a 2 dice attack with poison and rending at a quality of 5+, and only gets 2 3s. The Rat Warriors will strike back at the Plague Fury. Hand Weapon is a 1 die attack for each model at a quality of 5+, and gets a 2, a 5, and 6 for 2 hits. The Plague Fury has a defense of 5+, and only gets a 1 and a 4. Hopefully I'm reading this rule correct, but with Putrid I'm going to roll 1 dice for each wound. And only gets a 1 and a 2, so both wounds pass. Rolling for Wound check. The Fury already had 1 wound from before, so it will be added for a total of 3. And it gets a 1 plus 3, so it equals 4. The Plague Fury is shaken. Stun units cannot hold objectives, so Objective 2 is still held by the Ratmen. For the first activation of the Ratmen, the Grenadiers will move in and block Objective 1, and then range attack the Plague Swarm. Firebomb is a single die attack per model, with expert thrower and indirect at a quality of 5+. It only gets 2 2s and a 4. Plague Fury 1 will charge north to challenge for Objective 1 in melee with the Rat Grenaders. Rending Claw is a 2-dice attack with poison and rending at a quality of 5+. It gets 2 5s for 2 hits. The Grenaders have a defense of 5+. And it gets a 5 and a 6. Because of poison, the Grenaders have to re-roll the 6. And it still gets a 5, so both hits are blocked. The Grenaders will strike back at the Plague Fury. Hand Weapon is a single die attack per model with a quality of 5+. It gets a 4 and 2 6s for 2 hits. The Plague Fury has a defense of 5+. And gets a 4 and a 6 for 1 block from 1 wound. Rolling for Putrid. And it doesn't get it with a 4. Now rolling for Wound Check. It gets a 3 plus 1 for 4. The Plague Fury is shaken. Stun units cannot challenge objectives, so Objective 1 is still in control of the Ratmen. The Lone Rat Veteran will try to eliminate the Shaken Plague Warrior. Heavy Halberd is a single die attack with AP 1 at a quality of 4+. And only gets a 1. The Plague Demons have ran out of options for winning this game, so the Swarm is going to charge down and try to eliminate the Rat Veteran just for fun. Swarm Attack is a 3-dice attack with poison at a quality of 6+. And it doesn't get it with a 1, a 2, and a 3. The Rat Veteran will strike back at the Swarm. Heavy Hybrid is a single dice attack with AP 1 at a quality of 6 because of fatigue. It only gets a 2. The Rat Warriors will try to eliminate the Shaken Plague Fury 2. Head Weapon is a single die attack for each model at a quality of 6 because of fatigue. It gets 2 1s and 1 6 for 1 hit. The Plague Fury has a defense of 5+. It only gets a 2. Rolling for Putrid. It only gets a 4. Now rolling for Wound Check. The Plague Fury already had 3 wounds, plus this new one, plus Shaken, which also counts as a wound, for a total of 5. So technically there is no way to roll out of this without being knocked out. But just for fun, we're going to roll anyway. And it gets a 5 for a total of 10 wounds. The Plague Fury is knocked out. That ends the round and all activations. Now for a quick recap. In round 1, both armies take position and claim 1 objective each. Ratmen 1, Plague Demons 1. Combat started in round 2 as both sides started to lose models, and Objective 2 was left contested, forcing the Ratmen to lose 1 victory point. Ratmen 0, Plague Demons 1. By the end of round 3, the Ratmen were able to shake in a few units in order to reclaim Objective 2, and also sneak in to reclaim Objective 1 to completely turn the game around. Ratmen 2, Plague Demons 0. At the end of the final round, the Ratmen were able to stave off any Plague Demons attempting to contest any objectives. As a result, the Plague Demons suffered 2 shaken units and 1 knockout. Final score: Ratmen 2, Plague Demons 0.